When it comes to Street Fighter V characters, Rashid was not a character that I immediately made into my main. Ryu and Cammy are more my style. Rashid to me is that character that is new and piqued my interest because he isn't a classic character. So to get him as an action figure seemed to be just an accessory to the other classic Figuarts Street Fighter figures like Ryu, Chun-Li, and Cammy. But to be blunt, and to my surprise, he's easily the best one out of all of them. Why is that? Well, let's find out in this toy review of the SH Figuarts Street Fighter V Rashid.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us once again on the D-Star01 channel. I'm your host Dexter Arafiles, and today we'll be looking at the SH Figuarts Rashid from Street Fighter V. When I first picked him up, I was like, okay, he will be a good accessory to all my other Street Fighter figures. I don't really use this character, but upon closer inspection, I found something really interesting about this figure. If you want to know, let's dive into this toy review and let's see if he's worth your money.
So in the beginning of this video, I made a very bold claim and said Rashid is the best SH Figuarts Street Fighter figure. But let me explain right here in the paint and detail why. Chun-Li, Ryu, and Cammy all have an exaggerated anime look to them, especially when you look at their face. And comparing them to the game, as you can see here, it seems the faces just don't match. So let's look at Rashid. Doesn't that look accurate to you? Well, to me it does, almost 100%. This is a darn near perfect likeness. Why Figuarts decided he gets the best likeness is beyond me. From the bottom to the top, everything looks pretty good on him. Well, except for the sandals, they do need work. But that's about all I have to say bad about him. Everything else, from his outfit, the skin tone, the facial expression, all feature a very accurate detail that makes this a really good figure. I especially like his skirt because it's not that stiff at all. In fact, it's quite soft, and therefore posing him with all the kicking poses are available to you. It doesn't hinder his movement or ruin his appearance, and I really like that. Why toy companies don't use this type of soft plastic is beyond me. Figma Zelda. I'm looking at you. Looking at the skin tone, he's quite tan, and that makes sense from someone that comes from the Middle East. And while the red tones are a little exaggerated, they do well in acting as proper shading for his muscles. Lastly, his outfit has light shades of gray on him, so he isn't a pure white when looking at his clothes, and this completes the overall look of the figure. The accuracy of his look is mostly why I think he's easily the best out of all the Street Fighter figures from SH Figuarts.
So here we are with Rashid from Street Fighter V. We're going to go over articulation and scale, so let's get scale out of the way. Standing tall, he looks like he is 6 inches exactly, and we gotta compare him with other figures. We have the SH Figuarts Cammy, Soda Toys Balrog, which I really like, by the way, and we have a Marvel Legends Moon Knight. Let's see if I can get him to stand. Bring it back a little. And of course I have my custom Hot Ryu right here. Looks like he fits very well with everything in the 1/12 scale. So if you're looking to mix him with other figures, he fits really well. So let's talk about articulation. He's pretty much the fighting body that Ryu and Chun-Li have, and that's because he has these leg joints, which I really like, and they pose with kicks really well. So let's talk about that. We have an up and down here at the toe. We have this opening part right here on his ankle there, which looks like it's a little bit weird looking because it's so obvious it's there, but it adds for a lot of up and down movement, which I like, and left and right, which is pretty cool. And we have a hidden double jointed knee here, which is very reminiscent of the Ranma series. And of course we have the fighting body joints there. Really love this joint system. We have 2 joints here, all rotatable, very movable on the midsection, one up and one down. And of course we have the ball jointed shoulders. These are not pull out joints, nor are they butterfly joints, so He can't really hug himself as well as I'd like, but this isn't bad at all. And of course, we don't get a bicep swivel, but that's okay. And double jointed elbow there. Ball jointed peg combination for the wrist. And looks like we do get 2 points of articulation on the neck, one on the bottom and one on the top. And I don't really want to count it, but I am. This is actually a ball jointed backpack. And that adds a lot to the articulation. We're looking at around 24 points, and he's pretty much standard figure arts. Superposable, and I really like it. So that's Rashid with scale and articulation.
Eagle spike effect, 4 extra hands for 6 total, 2 extra faces for 3 faces total, background diorama, and backpack is what you get with this figure. Let's look at the eagle spike effect first. This is a nice opaque white at the body to a clear finish at the tips. It is quite nice, but somewhat difficult to put on his left leg. After realizing that this part right here signifies the back of the effect, putting it on his left leg makes it easier to understand how it is put on. Also, you must slightly put pressure on these effects for it to snap together, so don't be afraid to put a little bit of pressure on it. Not too much though. This effect can also be put on a stand, which is not included, like so, for his whirlwind shot special move. The backpack is not really an accessory, but since it can be removed, I'm gonna count it. The cool thing about his backpack is that it has a joint on it, and it attaches to him like so. This joint allows it so you can pose that backpack in any way you like. Looking at the extra faces, they all differ from each other, and what you get here is a neutral face, a smiling face, and a super excited action face. I really like how the beard and mustache are designed. It looks really nice, and is designed so well so you can have all your assortment of poses. Lastly, the backdrop diorama is his own stage in Saudi Arabia on the plane. It's really cool looking and is a welcome addition for those that like to take pictures of their figures and post them on Instagram. The overall package is good, although I wish it came with a stand to fully complete him. Regardless, this figure is really nice and easily the best looking one, as I have said before. He comes with everything you need, and if you're a Rashid fan, then this is definitely something that belongs in your collection. So let's break down this figure of the Turbulent Wind, Rashid from SH Figuarts. And let's talk about the negatives first. You know what? He really doesn't have any. If there's anything I'd have to complain about, is that his open-toed combat boots here, they just look kind of strange. It looks like they're lacking some shading and detail. So let's talk about the positives. Wow, I just love everything about him. The shading, the facial structure, and everything about him is just so accurate to the video game. In fact, he's probably the most accurate representation of a character from Street Fighter V. And that's so strange because the other three, Cammy, Ryu, and Chun-Li, don't really look like their video game counterpart. So yeah, easily the most accurate. Another thing I love about him is the bottom of his trench coat is bendy, and that means he has so much range of motion in his kicks without this hindering his movement. Definitely a main positive, especially when you compare him to like other figures from Figma, like Zelda. That skirt was really, really hard plastic and she couldn't move at all. So let's rate this figure. He's easily a 9 out of 10 D-stars. Easily. You gotta pick him up if you're a Street Fighter V fan. Anyway, that's all the time that we have for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hey you! Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Where? Right here. Not there, right here. You. And thanks for watching. So, rate, comment, and subscribe. Right here, right there, right here. Yeah.